All right, good evening. Just wrapping up the draft, we had a busy and exciting day, but as far as this evening goes, really pleased with the way things turned out. To get Brandon Podziemski at the 19th pick, a guy we've targeted for quite some time, and he was much higher than that on our board. And so anytime I think you come away with a player that's 8-9 spots, ahead of on your board, ahead of where you picked, you feel great about it. And so picked up a player that we think fits the way we play. We like his skill set, his ability to shoot, his ability to pass, play make, tremendous rebounder, and maybe more than anything, a competitor. I mean, this guy's, he takes it to another level as a competitor. So we're really pleased to add that to our culture. Along with that, we were able to draft Trayce Jackson-Davis at the 57th pick in the second round. We think there's tremendous value there. Another guy we had pretty high on our board. A little surprised he made it that far, but you take what you can get, and he's a guy that's, he's been a 4-year college player, proven player, skilled player, can do a lot of things, defend, rebound, finish, and his passing I thought really improved over the last year or two in college. So we're really excited about the stuff we've done, and we just feel like these guys fit our makeup, they fit our fabric, and we're excited to get them out here and hit the ground running.
Would the plan be probably to roster Trayce Jackson-Davis?
Yeah, I think that's the plan. Yeah, he'll be on the regular, call 15-man roster. Not sure that we'll carry 15, but he'll be on the main roster. And we're not overly loaded in the front court. With Looney, hopefully we can get Draymond back, but he's a guy that will provide insurance and hopefully be able to grow within our program.
You alluded to the busy day that you guys had. I know there are certain things you're not yet allowed to talk about, but this was one of your first days on the job. How crazy was the entirety of today?
Yeah, it was hectic. I learned a lot, but I thought we came out in a great place. And these days are busy. I've done drafts before in this organization, and just keep going back to what a great collaborative group we have that works well together. And we came out in a good way tonight. So I'm really pleased and happy for our whole group.
Do you look at way over here? Yeah. Do you look at Podziemski as somebody who should be able to play right away? He's a guy that we've seen your younger players not get in the rotation. Have you talked with Steve? Is there some sense that you kind of expect him to get in the rotation?
Well, having been around the league a long time and taken from personal experience, I would never draft anybody expecting them to play right away. I just think coming in as a rookie in the NBA, there's too many challenges, there's too much going on. If you can find a way to play, great. It's gravy on top. But I don't care if you're 19, 21, 25. There's an amazing adjustment that has to take place. Everybody does it at their own speed. So we're going to bring these guys along. We're going to develop them. If they can play right away, great. But as far as we're concerned, no expectation in year one. It's unrealistic. And if they do end up playing well, then it's a bonus.
Was it, Cam Whitmore falls a top 5 pick? Was it any thought to maybe taking him first off, and then how do you plan to address the size issue that seemed to be a problem in the playoffs?
Yeah, I think as far as Whitmore goes, we had our board, and we went and we took the highest available guy on our board, and that was Brandon, and really happy with the pick. A lot of talented guys went throughout. Some slid, some went higher than expected. That's kind of the draft. But I think we ended up with the guy we wanted, and we're really comfortable at 19. As far as addressing size, being realistic, this organization has never had, any huge players. We've relied on toughness and skill, and, whether that's Draymond, that's Looney. Trayce fits a little bit in that regard. He's 6'8", but he plays a lot bigger than he is. So, we're always looking for size, but I think we prioritize skill more so.
What do you see Brandon's developmental path with the Warriors? Do you see him as a guy that might be able to rely on him for 10 minutes on a night?
Yeah, I think as far as his path goes, like I said before, I mean, I think you got to always temper expectations for rookies coming in, but this dude is so competitive. He's got so much fire that, you know, I wouldn't sell him short on what he can do. You know, come up here and tell him, don't plan on playing much your rookie year. I know he's going to challenge me and anybody else who would say that. So I'm looking forward to watching him and seeing how he grows, but he's got a really high skill level. And when you have a really high skill level, willingness to compete, toughness, you got a chance.
When did you really zero in on him? Was it a workout? I know he was here. Was it, you know, combine? When did you guys really start thinking could be our guy?
Yeah, I mean, he's a kid that came on the radar out of nowhere. He started at Illinois last year as a freshman, didn't play much, and ended up transferring out here to Santa Clara. And you start hearing this buzz about this kid at Santa Clara who's putting up incredible numbers and really interesting prospect. And obviously being right here in our backyard, we had our group, you know, easily get down there and to see him, scout him. And, you know, I think he was always a guy in the mix for us. And then we had him in for a workout. We did a film session with him, had an interview with him, as we do most of these guys. But there's just something about this guy that he just checked all the boxes for us. And, you know, we felt like here's a guy we want to target at 19. And sure enough, we got him tonight.
Where do you see he is defensively? Might he be somebody that's got to add some strength, or where do you think that is right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think with his, his physical profile, he's going to be challenged at the defensive end in the NBA. It's just how it is. I love the way he competes. I think overall, as like a team defender, he's a plus. But just like anybody else that comes to the NBA, you know, isolation, pick and rolls, all that stuff on the perimeter. I mean, you're playing against the best, most skilled athletes in the world. So it'll be a challenge, but again, we're falling back on his competitiveness and his fire. And like I said, I'm anxious to see how he does.
Free agency's coming quick. You guys are making pretty substantial changes to the roster, it seems. How do you just kind of view the to-do list over the next 14 days? Like, what's the priority?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're in a good spot with roster spots first and foremost. I think you always got to be mindful of those. And, maybe heading into this week, you know, there was some concern about not enough or overloading. So I always want to have a few bullets in free agency. All we're going to be able to have is minimums. So we got to work with that. But, you know, we're looking to add veteran players that can fit into our rotation. I think I mentioned the other day, shooting is always a premium. Two-way play, always a premium. And then, you know, I think it's obvious that we need to add some size. So some size and skill, specifically shooting, I think would go a long way and complement our front court.
Hi, Mike. Sorry. We saw Clay take so much pride in his rebounding this season, and also Steph likes to get his rebounds from his position. And Brandon led the West Coast Conference in rebounding. And how much do you appreciate that he's 6'5", a guy who really takes that seriously?
Yeah, I mean, certainly not a guy we're going to have to ask to rebound. He's just a natural rebounder. He goes after the ball. It's it's a skill that you can't teach. So to have that added, you know, similar to, I mean, I think Dante DiVincenzo was like that. You know, his Steph's pretty good about it, but to have guards that can rebound in this league is such an advantage. So that's certainly a big part of why we picked him.
Mike, for a guy like Brandon, who essentially played his college ball in this team's backyard, in terms of like making that transition to the NBA level, do you see that as any type of advantage? You know, not having to go far, being familiar with the surroundings?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think I talked to him tonight. You know, he was excited to get back out to the Bay Area, and certainly there's some familiarity. But, you know, he was only here a year before moving from the Midwest. I do like his Milwaukee roots. We've had a good pipeline there, some good success with some guys from Milwaukee, so I like that. And, I think he's just a kid who's all about basketball. So I think he'll adjust to the game pretty well because I imagine he'll tell you doesn't have to worry about going to class or anything like that.
Including maybe some of the things you can't talk about, but what kind of day was this for you? Your first big moves as a general manager, maybe some people would tiptoe into a day like that. Doesn't feel like that's what you did. Just what was the day? What was the meetings like? What was, was it you sitting with two other guys by yourself? How did this day kind of unfold for you?
Yeah, it was hectic. The last few days have been long. That's just the way it is this time of year. But all our stuff is usually in groups, whether it's larger groups or smaller groups with Joe, where we're going through things, we're going through scenarios, possibilities, trades, and then really finalizing our draft board, which, today we did that this morning, and that took longer than since I've been here it ever has. We had a lot of players that we liked, and we really had to figure out at 19 who was the guy we wanted to take, and sure enough, Brandon ended up being that. But as a whole, like I said before, I learned a lot of communication amongst other teams, but we've got such a great group. There's so many people I can lean on and rely on, and we kind of all do this together and take accountability for it. But, it was just a very successful day for our organization.
Having been through it before, how is it different as the GM, as the head guy?
A lot more people looking at you for the answer than, normally I'm kind of whispering in somebody's ear, suggesting something. Now all eyes are on you, and what do we do here? Or it's your call. And, it's fun. I enjoy having that on my shoulders because we've got so many good people that I can rely on and trust. So while it might be my call, I just feel like it's our call.
And this is your favorite part, right? Coming to explain it to us.
Yeah. It's nice to have the day over.
Mike, was Bob Myers in the building? Was he part of anything? His contract runs up through June 30th, so another 8 days or so. But what was his role?
I think he was on the beach. He certainly wasn't in the building. I talked to him earlier today, and he's look. I think if you asked him, certainly there's a part he misses, but he's always following us. He texted me after we made the picks, but no, Bob wasn't here, and he needs to get away and enjoy it.
Sorry if that was a silly question. Joe weeks ago said he was going to work Bob till the very end.
You got a great question. You had to ask.
Okay, thanks.
Mike, I know Joe likes to joke about the relationship and texting you back and forth and calling, but how much did your father reach out to you on a day like today, or how much did you lean on him, knowing that he's been in this position before?
Yeah, I talked to him on the way in, and it was more just catching up. I can't say that he really knows the draft right this year or anything like that, but we just talked through stuff, and it was just a normal catch up. Nothing specific, but it's great always knowing that he's there and can call anytime. And my brother actually represents Trayce. He's part of that representation group, so I was on the phone with him a lot, a little too much in fact, but we got it done.
Again, tiptoeing maybe around some things, but you said it was a successful day for this franchise. Where do you think generally you're better now today than you were at the beginning of the day?
Tim, I have to be very measured with that question. I just like the overall makeup of our roster in terms of quality of players, depth, and kind of fit for how we like to play. And like I said before, I also like where we're going to be at with the roster spots. Heading into free agency, having some flexibility. I think at times we get kind of tight on roster spots, and a guy comes up that's available and you just don't have a roster spot for it. So I'm really optimistic going into next week, but even more so coming out of tonight with two really, really good young players. Was
toughness at all something that you circled that maybe you could use a little bit more on this team?
Yeah, I would say competitiveness. There's a competitiveness, and we've drafted a couple guys with pretty good proven track records. Obviously, Trayce 4 years. Brandon really only played one, 20-year-old. But guys that have a sample size of going out and getting stuff done. And on top of it, as you mentioned, the competitive tough factor was some, I think taking feedback from our team, our coaches this year, we kind of had to get back to.
Mike here in the middle. Can you describe the phone call with Brandon, what that went like, and then maybe what do you remember about your phone call when you got drafted in the league?
Yeah, I remember Raymond Ritter just shoving a phone in my face. Raymond was actually there. That was back in the good old days. We actually went. Now you send somebody. With Brandon, it was great. Tremendous energy. All fired up. He was great. And I told him at the end, we'll get you out here. We'll hit the ground running. And yeah, 5-0 in summer league. I didn't mention it. I think we're playing 8 summer league games, but hopefully we win them all.